What is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Talk to Me here on notfest.com. If you are listening on podcast, stick around. The guest this week is Keizo, an EDM artist that is melding rock and metal and EDM and all that stuff. You guys have heard him with Of Mice and Men, Atreyu, and so much more. So great conversation with him. And if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the Notfest VIP over at notfest.com so you can check out that interview too. And as always, Chris Aiken. Chris, how we doing?
I am awesome. How you doing, man?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. I gotta show you another. I got a piece of arsenal for my house here.
Oh boy, nice.
We went out today and got it. It's nice. Gibson Thunderbird.
Ooh,
No,
look at that.
Got it today.
Look at you. Does this confirm the rumors of a Primer reunion?
That does not confirm the rumors of a Primer reunion, but that does almost confirm a 12-volt Negative Earth show that we've been hinting around at in Nashville. So if you're watching, you know about my early band 12-volt Negative Earth. Keep checking the socials, and you'll see a date pop up and all that good stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool. Well, if we're showing things off here, I'll show off something too. I got this nice little metal plaque from Mark Zonder of Fate's Warning.
Nice.
With a nice little thanks for the great interview for me.
I'm getting sick of this where you're doing interviews and people are sending you stuff and I'm doing interviews and they're not sending me shit, man.
You're not doing the right interviews.
Well, because I'm not interviewing Fate's Warning. I've interviewed Soulfly 1,000 times.
Yeah. Well, you ought to hit this Keizo dude up. Tell him to send you a turntable or something. iPod.
But yeah, man, Keizo, fun interview. And like I said, listening on podcast, stick around. Listening on YouTube, make sure to go subscribe. Check that one out. That was a fun interview. And you can tell he definitely enjoyed kind of being outside of the EDM world and just talking music and metal.
Sure.
And, crazy backstory on that guy, all that fun stuff.
Very good.
But let's dive into new Slipknot, man. They keep trickling out songs, and I have not hated a one yet, man. So Yen is out.
Yeah, like this one, don't love it as much as the first two. Yeah. But I think that's because you know how I am, more heavy, more good. Yeah. And the Chapeltown Rag and the what was the last one? I can't even think of the name of it. But the one before,
the Dying Song.
Just explosions.
Yeah.
This one's a little different. It's kind of different from almost anything Slipknot has done, really. It's kind of cool. I like it, man. It's a cool song, cool vid, cool lyric vid, or whatever we're calling that, visualizer.
Right.
But yeah, they're 3 for 3. I can't wait for the record. Hey, Notfest people, you could slide it to us a little early.
Right.
We'll promote it. We really will. We've been known to say good things about things that are involved with the channel. Throw us the record. Come on.
Yeah, I dig, what they've been doing. I talked about on the Dying Song too, just the fact that there's 9 dudes in the band and you can at some point in every song hear something that someone is doing.
Yeah.
There's a DJ scratching period. You can always hear, clanging on, pots and pans and whatnot. And it's just always something going on in a Slipknot song. And this one's definitely moodier. But yeah, I'm here for it, man.
I can't wait. And I love the last record. The last record I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
It's still, I actually play that one. The only one I probably play more is Iowa. Mm-hmm. But I still, Unsainted is still like one of them tunes that just, you just turn it on and by the middle when it kicks in, you're just like banging your head. Doesn't matter what you're doing. It's just awesome energy. So absolutely. I can't wait. I'm very pumped.
Absolutely. The Wacken Festival,
yes,
I believe Slipknot was just at, man. They, you and I talked last week. You thought that Pantera was going to be a big announcement. It still could be. But I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter if they announce anyone else, man. 80,000 tickets sold in 6 hours for this thing.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what the bigger picture to me is? That's a lot of tickets, not knowing that it's for sure going to happen. Everybody hopes it will, but I mean, we are seeing, a lot of COVID things again. A lot of now monkeypox bullshit is out there as well.
Right.
We're seeing that creeping back into the world again, but boy, seems like people are willing to invest their money hoping that it happens. So what a Yeah, who's the headliner? Iron Maiden?
Iron Maiden. Yeah, that's the crazy thing is, I mean, 80,000 tickets. I mean, to me, I think it sold 80,000 tickets more for what it was and not who it was, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Dropkick Murphys, Ginger, Beartooth, band Two Steps from Hell, Deicide doing a Legion set, which I would pay top dollar to see that.
Sure.
Pentagram, Nervosa, and Burning Witches are the ones that are announced at this point. So we'll see who else pops on the bill, but the 80,000 tickets in 6 hours. I mean, that's more. They're going for everything involved.
Mm-hmm. They are, and there will be more. I mean, that's not big enough for 3 days by any means. Pantera still. I'm still put it down. I'm sticking to my bet. Pantera's still going to headline one of these days. It's got to be. It has to be. I mean, they're going to be out there. They have to be the headliner for one of these days. They just have to be it. I mean, who else you going to get?
Metallica.
Maybe Rammstein.
Right. Slipknot again. Just
Slipknot
keep bringing
again.
them back.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Be. Yeah. Well, they could bring us as announcers. I'd do it.
Right. Speaking of Metallica, let's go ahead and dive into it, because I think this is going to take up a big chunk of this.
Okay.
So the story came out a couple of days ago on Loudwire that there's a girl on TikTok, which you and I have talked at length about how, thoroughly enjoying TikTok.
Yeah.
But and I have a death grip on my youth, and I think that I'm not, aging, and I think that I'm still hip and cool with all the the children of the day and stuff like that.
Sure.
But man, some of the stuff that these people are saying on here is just absolutely blowing my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
User at Serena Trueblood. She runs a channel that what is it called here? Is your fave problematic? And so she goes at Metallica on this.
Okay.
And the first thing out of her mouth is, let's just go ahead and get into this. Metallica is ancient. So, I mean, right off the top, she's just like, these guys are 1,000 years old.
Okay. Fair.
First major point that she says was, she says that, she's trying to go on and on about how Metallica is racist. And there's that photo out there where they're doing the Nazi salute, and like James has got kind of doing the two fingers over the mouth thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good look. Don't get me wrong. Do I
now?
Now. Back then, I don't think it was that. I don't think there's hate behind that pose. I think they were on tour for so long, and you just, like, when you're with your bros, you do dumb stuff.
Well,
and so you're gonna make that dumb photo. I don't know the backstory in that photo, and I think I read the backstory of that photo, but I'm not 100% sure of the backstory of that photo.
Let's go backwards in time a little bit, though.
Okay.
Before, in the 80s and in the 70s and especially the 80s, we goofed on it. We goofed on Hitler.
Yes.
Hitler was a joke. We had Hogan's Heroes, for fuck's sake. We absolutely, and I'll tell a personal story here that's not going to make me look great, but whatever. So with the CMS, we used to do a segment, and it was just a goofy segment where we would pretend like we were interviewing Doro.
Right.
And when so Neely would say something on the show, and he'd be like, "What do you think about that, Doro?" And at the time I used to use clips, and I had this clip of a Hitler speech. Right. So whenever he would say, "What do you think about that, Doro?" I'd hit the clip. He whatever Hitler's rambling on about. And I didn't think nothing of it. And boy, did it offend Doro to no. I mean, she was completely offended, and it was a long, long story. I had to apologize to her. I had to apologize to the label. Yeah. It was a big thing. She was crying on the phone. I mean, it was a thing. And as I told her, and I still stand by this, and I think Metallica would probably say the same thing, it was kind of a goof for us here in the States. We didn't take it because it wasn't our people that were slaughtered necessarily. Yeah. And because our pop culture took the Holocaust and whatnot as kind of it kind of transformed it into comedy. We didn't take it as that serious.
Yeah.
that photo is, I mean, you look at that photo. When is that photo, do you think, if you had to guess? 80s, 90s?
Yeah, it looks probably like around Justice, I would say.
Yeah, so they were goofing around. First of all, they were never sober. Anybody that knew Metallica at that time, they were never sober. So they were always goofing around and they were always hammered. And stop it. Just stop. They're not Nazi sympathizers. You know, the thing about James's guitar with the iron cross, just stop it. He just thought it looked cool.
Right.
He thought it looked cool and he stuck it on his guitar. If you don't like it, tough shit. Don't listen to his music then, you bitch. Jesus.
Yeah. So after the Iron Cross, she goes on to say her third thing she says to say that they're a racist band is that he's photographed with Kerry King. And the only thing that's wrong with Kerry King, she says, Aryan looking motherfucker or something like that because he has a shaved head. I'm just like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. Has Kerry King ever been accused of being Nazi sympathizer or racist or whatever?
No. I mean, granted, in the photo she shows he's wearing that shirt that says, you wear your X, I'll wear mine. And it's a Confederate flag. Not the best look.
Well, but again,
today,
again, in 1990, whatever. I mean, if we're going to condemn everybody that did anything that doesn't meet these fucking kids' standards, then we're not going to have any entertainment at all.
Right.
You might as well look at a blank screen. That's what you might as well look at because, dude, the Confederate flag up until Dukes of Hazzard 5 years ago or whenever it was that they took it off, it didn't mean shit.
Yeah.
It didn't mean, no one went around, nobody was going around looking and seeing a Confederate flag and going, uh-oh, look out. There's probably a lynching in the backyard.
Right.
No one was doing that. It just wasn't the way it was. It was just like, okay, it was a cool design, kind of in the way graffiti was a cool design, you know? And this is so nonsense. I can't stand these fucking oversensitive kids. Jesus.
Well, speaking of a blank screen, later she talks about the Black Lives Matter thing, and she shows that Lars and Kirk and the Metallica page, they all did the black screen to show solidarity with Black Lives Matter. And she says, oh, but look who doesn't do it. And it's James. James doesn't have an Instagram. Like he got rid of all of his social media years ago. Like
right.
He's not on social media. So she's saying that since he didn't do it, like somehow that was racist, but I'm like, he's not on social media.
Even if he was,
yeah.
Where is it written that you have to adopt somebody else's cause?
Right.
This has been one of the biggest things that has bugged me for the entire movement of all of these damn movements. You don't have to overbloviate about somebody else's cause to prove that you're not something. You don't have to go march with Black Lives Matter to prove that you don't hate black people.
Right.
Is that crazy? Is that a crazy thought that, hey, that's your deal? You know, my deal is, for me personally, my deal is go do whatever you want. Anybody, go do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to celebrate any of it personally. I'm not going to celebrate Black Lives Matter. I'm not going to celebrate gay pride. I'm not going to celebrate white pride. I'm not going to celebrate homosexual. I'm not going to celebrate any of it because I don't care.
Right.
And maybe James just doesn't care. It's not his deal. As long as he's not out there saying, oh, here's my song called Kill All the Black People. As long as he's not doing that, then what's the problem?
Right. Yeah. And then there's a lady, she plays a clip of a lady saying that one of the reasons that Body Count wasn't on the stadium tour in 1992 was that James said he didn't want to share the stage with that N-word. But then if you go and look at the stadium tour that year, Body Count was on that tour. Like that makes no sense to me.
Yeah. And since when, even of an artist like Metallica on a stadium, was it their tour?
It was the co-headlining, you know.
Was it the Guns N' Roses one?
Yeah. That's the
Okay, was I'm just trying to remember back at that time. Was Body Count that tour was
that would have been the peak of Cocktail.
Was that their peak? Were they bigger than Faith No More, who was on the tour? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, there were so many bands that were wanted for that tour. They were trying to get Nirvana for that tour. You know, they wanted Nirvana. They wanted Soundgarden. They wanted a ton of bands. You know, so I don't. But there's like some woman on the internet where we are saying that James said he didn't want to share a stage with that N-word, and then that And then there's another story where somehow Axl Rose is a saint in all of this story, saying that James didn't want to do an album with Ice-T and Axl because that's somehow racist. I'm just like, gee. But then they always go back to Lloyd Grant was on the first Metallica single ever.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't know. I guess James found the error in his ways because I saw him in '99 on New Year's Eve with Seven Dust.
Yeah.
So, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This is just another dummy on the internet spewing dumb shit, and people are just responding to it. People that want to be offended will be offended. And that is what this is another example of. Plain and simple.
And then there's the other racism where James says the O word, which I didn't even know there was an O word.
What is the O word?
I guess it's Oriental. I guess you're not allowed to say
Oriental?
Oriental is now the O word.
The O word.
But there's just so much footage out there. I mean, but that's like from the same time period where they're in the jet. He's like, he picks up some stuff. He makes some kung fu jokes. And then, then he kind of dismisses when you, even back in like 90, whatever, someone's like, I don't think politically okay to say Oriental and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, that's like at the same time. I mean, he's also making fun of like the Wizard of Oz, like in those videos. I mean, it's insane.
Dude, you can't be offended by everything. You certainly can't. If it would be one thing if James Hetfield in 2022 got up on stage and said, let's play this one for the Orientals, whatever. I don't know what context you would use, but or don't, if you're black, get out of here because we're going to play Creeping Death, if he said something like that now, okay, then you can be mad. Being mad about what was considered comical or funny, or maybe not funny, but an attempt at being funny 35 years ago is just you being lame and you wanting to be upset about something.
Right.
Because you can't change shit from the past. You can't. And pretending that, well, you're outraged now and you're not going to support it. No one cares. Do you really think Metallica is going to get shut down because some dumbass on TikTok says so? No way. No way.
And then they go on. She goes on to say that they make fun of mental health issues and suicide and drug abuse, which is them making fun of Alice in Chains by playing Rooster or whatnot and doing the needle in the arm joke, which at the time I think everyone was doing that. Probably everyone in the crowd laughing their ass off at that.
Of course. Yeah, it's comedy. It's jokes.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's where does this stop? How many movies are there out there? Just regular movies where they glamorize drug use, or they glamorize selling drugs, or they glamorize, people killing people or gun use or whatever. So you're going to ban everything? Are you literally going to ban everything? That's what I said. If you go down this rabbit hole, you end up with a blank screen because there's nothing left. What do these kids today find fun? That's always my question. What is the fun spot for them? Do you know?
I wish I do. Like I can't even think back to like when I was in my teens, if I would have been like, who really sucks is the Eagles, that Glenn Fry, it just like attacking everything over nonsense. And the other thing they made fun of was Nirvana and Kurt killing himself. And then, there's a terrible joke of like, who has 4 legs and works at Walmart, and it's the surviving members of Nirvana. But Lars says that in front of a crowd of people. Terrible joke. That's not funny. But and then they clip to a clip of that funny clip of Dave Mustaine going, he was a hell of a shot or something like that. So somehow Dave Mustaine gets pulled into this too, man.
Of course.
Just insane, man. But that the people are just. I know that the whole like thing is, what is it, glass houses or whatever, don't throw stones in glass houses or whatnot, because you put yourself out there like this, somebody's going to dig up something on this person.
At some point. Yeah. Or something that they're saying today that might even be within today's standard. Yeah. What is tomorrow's standard?
Right.
You don't know what obviously everything that you're listing here, Metallica did not think 35 years later, oh, that's going to be a problem. Better not say that. You say things within the scope of the time period that you live in.
Yeah.
And jokes, obviously we had I don't know. We were tougher back then than they are now because we weren't offended. I mean, look, you've been to comedy shows, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you ever want to sit up front?
The one time I did not want to be there.
Yeah. I mean, it's uncomfortable as hell. Why is it uncomfortable as hell? Because you become the target.
Oh yeah.
And it's very much uncomfortable when you're the target, but you didn't walk out of the comedy show when you were the target and say, well, I'm never going to a comedy show again.
Well, it's fine. I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you the story of my sitting up front in a comedy show. We were, me and my old singer, we were going to see Tracy Morgan, and it was like the third show Saturday night, and we get there kind of late, so we get and they're seating us, and they're taking us basically all the way to the front.
Sure.
And there was a 4-top table. Table is butted up against the stage, so like my friend Jason is like up against the stage. I'm behind him. Across from us is a couple, like on a date.
Mm-hmm.
And Tracy, about 10 minutes into his set, just looks at the girl and the guy and looks at the guy and goes, "Hey, do you eat ass?" And he goes, "What?" And he's like, "But if you don't eat her ass, he is," and points at my friend.
Right.
And like kind of goes on this ass eating thing about, my whole table eating this girl's ass.
Right.
And then he goes, and then Tracy moved on to something else. And I heard the lady go, "Well, I guess the 2-drink minimum doesn't apply to Tracy." And then they got up and left or something.
Dude, it's funny with the comedians, man, because they want to get you if they know, you know this, but the fans, the viewers may not. Yeah. One of my pretty good friends is Dave Landau, the comedian he's on Louder with Crowder. He was on Kumia, etc. Yeah, and he's a pretty good friend of mine. I do his website. I've known Dave for a while. Every time he comes to Cleveland, it's kind of a pilgrimage for me and a bunch of my friends. We all go and see Dave, even though it's the same jokes we've seen, each time, we still go. The last time we went, I'm on the list, and I show the guy the card. He lets us in. Table right next to the to the stage. And I was like, nope, not sitting there. And I told the guy, I said, put me somewhere else. I was like, I'm not sitting here. And he's like, come on. Dave said to sit you right here. I was like, nope, I'd rather pay for my tickets. I'm not sitting here. And so he moved us to the side. Fast forward to the end of the show after everybody's coming out, and we're coming out, and we see Dave. He's at the door, and he's like, "Hey, how come you weren't sitting up front?" I was like, "Nope, not playing your game, man. No way." And obviously, long hair, fat guy. Wow, I'm just set up to get hammered on by him. Yeah. It's like, nope, not gonna do it.
Speaking of TikTok, man, I was watching, just kind of scrolling through some TikTok. I don't know if it's the algorithm picking up on me liking some things or whatnot, but every time I see comedians now on TikTok, they're just doing crowd work. It's all just crowd work. I'm like, do you people tell jokes anymore? Or do you just walk out on stage and hope there's a couple of things in the audience to make fun of?
Yeah, well, they probably can't do any work in it. What can they tell jokes about? Unless it's a Donald Trump joke, they can't tell it anymore. And it's got to be an anti-Donald Trump joke, or else you can't tell it. What can you tell? What can you tell that won't get you in trouble now? It's nonsense.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, would that not be considered bullying? Like if you really wanted to get down into it, if you're picking on someone in the crowd and everyone's laughing, that's, how are we not like, let's riot on that, Chris? Let's go.
No, just not yet. That's going to come. That's absolutely dude, I am thinking that we're going to get to the point where content of TV and movies is next.
Yeah.
Even though it's acted, even though it's scripted, why are you writing such things? Why are you producing? Why are you spending money to produce this filth? I
didn't say no filth. What is that story where there's like a new Beyonce album and she went back and took a word out because it's offensive word.
Wow.
Like it's a
she took a word out of an old album?
Beyonce to remove offensive Renaissance lyric after Ableist backlash. Oh God.
What is an ableist?
I don't know. Seventh studio album Renaissance debuted on July 29th to universal acclaim, but one lyric in the song Heated left many listeners outraged on social media. The song included the word spaz during a verse in which Beyonce sings spazzin' on that ass, spaz on that ass. In the medical field, spastic refers to a disability that makes it difficult for people to control their muscles,
Are you
especially
kidding me?
in their arms and legs. The singer's team confirmed to Variety that the lyric will be removed and the line has been replaced to the following: blasting on that ass, blast on that ass.
That sounds worse.
I know. I can. Oh man. A writer from The Guardian wrote, Beyonce's commitment to storytelling musically and visually is unparalleled, as is her power to have the world paying attention to the narratives, struggles, and nuanced lived experience of being a Black woman, ... But that does not excuse her use of ableist language.
Oh, shut up. Just shut up. I hate these youth. I hate them. They are literally they are going to be known as the no fun generation.
Yeah, that's definitely
because there's not going to be any fun left. What are they going to have for fun? What are they going to do for fun? They're not going to see comedy. They're not going to write it. They're not going to see movies because everything's offensive in the movies. They have to have all their music,
homogenized,
turned into Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I'm sure that's racist somehow.
It probably is. What do you mean twinkle? Is that a gay reference? I mean, I can see it just being to that level. That's how far we're taking it at this point. This generation's going to have nothing.
And I think a few posters said if Metallica can make it through some kind of monster, insane anger, and not be canceled, you can't cancel Metallica. So that's where I'm at. You can't cancel Metallica.
Yeah, they're not getting canceled. Just stop it.
Friend of the show, friend of Chris Aiken, Megadeth bassist Dave Ellefson on the tour with Jeff Young and Chris Bowen we spoke about. Dave said this is a celebration, not a retaliation, which I tend to agree with. I think that Dave can play those songs. Dave was a part of all those songs, and the other members of Megadeth are going to get up and play their parts too. And it's a celebration of that time period.
Well, and Mustaine's not playing those songs either. Honestly, I mean, in his set, how many songs does he play from that era? 1, 2?
Yeah, not very many.
Yeah, I mean, he plays. I mean, that's what Killing Is My Business and Peace Sells era.
Killing Is My Business and So Far So Good So What.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. He'll play In My Darkest Hour. I'm just saying Mustaine. He'll play In My Darkest Hour, and he'll play. What does he play from the first album? Anything? I don't think so.
He pulls out Mechanics every once in a while, right?
I think maybe, but I mean, he doesn't. So maybe 2, maybe 2 songs, and the rest of those songs aren't being played anyway. As far as I'm concerned, I would like to see So Far So Good So What in its entirety. I love that record.
Yeah, it looks like they're playing both albums in their entirety.
So. That's solid. It's coming to Cleveland.
I think it's only been West Coast dates so far.
All right, where's my phone? I'm gonna have to make a text. Bring it to Cleveland.
I think they need to play. Why don't they just for me? Why don't they bust out Hidden Treasures with all the covers and and all the B-sides? Man, that's honestly one of my favorite Megadeth records. Just because their Megadeth is the best soundtrack band ever.
Wow,
let me
that's
pull
a statement.
I mean, let me pull up the album. I just saw it. Hidden Treasures, 1995.
Mm-hmm.
No More Mr. Nice Guy. Breakpoint. Go to Hell. Angry Again. 99 Ways to Die. Paranoid. Those 4 in a row right there. That's all you need.
It's not bad.
I mean, it's some of my favorite Megadeth. I mean, 99 Ways to Die, which is what Beavis and Butthead, and Angry Again, Last Action Hero soundtrack. Go to Hell was Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Bill and Ted, yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, I mean that might be 3 of my favorites in a row right there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, see.
All right, you sold me. That's fine.
I mean, like, hey, if we're gonna start pulling out old stuff, let's see.
Yeah.
Killing Is My Business. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that they would play. And then, so we're skipping.
Yeah, and the only thing would be In My Darkest Hour on.
Would they ever do like Anarchy in the UK?
I've seen them do it, but it's been a while.
Yeah. So yeah, Dave Ellefson, bring that to my town too.
Yeah, come on, Ellefson, let's go.
And in the spirit of Ellefson, we'll do every podcast. The interview was with, yes, you can play guitar.
Oh.
If you want to start a show and you want Dave Ellefson on your podcast, he will do your podcast.
Well, that's the way to start a show is with David Ellefson, because you can always say, yeah, my first show, we did a Grammy winner, the first show we ever did.
Right.
And of course it's Ellefson who's done, every show under the sun, but.
And he's great. And the other thing is too, he's great on every show that he does. Like
he is.
He just, you can ask him anything and he'll answer you honestly, and a long answer and a very well thought out answer. Like, I think he was like episode 44 of the Talk to Me podcast, like early on, like within the first year. I remember just being nervous, like my phone rang and it was him. And, that's when I was just doing phone interviews. And I think I talked to him for like 20 minutes and mostly about coffee, because that was when his coffee came out. But I was just like, hung up the phone shaking. I'm like, it was Dave Ellefson. There's been a few of those handshaking moments. Obviously when Jason Newsted pops up on the StreamYard, you're like, whoa, shit, that's really him.
Right. Yeah. So. Dude, one of the best times I ever had with Ellefson was when I was on the metal show in Cleveland. We did this. I don't even remember what the premise was, but for some reason we did the premise that my co-host Matt was like suspended for like endlessly for like, I think it was like 7 weeks or something, that he didn't do the show even though he was there. And one of the shows, so I was doing a thing where I was trying out co-hosts.
Okay.
And one of the co-hosts I tried out was David Ellefson when he was promoting Temple of Brutality. And he did the whole show with me. He literally hung out. I mean, he was on the phone, but he hung out. And then when we would go to talking breaks, come back and say, yeah, we're here with co-host David Ellefson talking Temple of Brutality. It was cool. It was fun. And I didn't know him at the time. But he could not have been cooler to just sit there and chat with me in between the song, when the songs were playing and stuff, the commercials. Yeah. He was great. He was fantastic. He's a good dude. Oh yeah, fan. Just every once in a while I'll be going through my phone and I just see that he's in my phone, and you get that temptation to be like, I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna. What's up, bro?
What's up, Dave? But yeah, man, David Ellefson, great dude, and go and support him out on tour, because that's the one. I was thinking about him again, just playing bass, man. As a bass player, just a monster bass player.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
All right, man. Well, let's dive into some recommendations for the week. I know one of our anti recommendations is probably going to be another long talk, so let's go ahead and dive into that before we get out of here.
Okay, which one?
Well, I'm gonna go. Well, let's do the bad before the good. So I did the Woodstock '99 documentaries. I did not watch the first one because everything that I saw about the first one just made me mad. Like they were just blaming nu metal for everything, and nu metal is my thing. Like that's my era. That's my 1999 Woodstock '99. I would have been 20 years old. I would have already been in the, I would have been touring already. I was already recording out, all that stuff. I was knee deep in nu metal.
Sure.
And so they're talking about, the nu metal that brought down, Woodstock '99 and all this other nonsense. And so I just did not want to watch it.
Right.
Everything I saw about it just made me mad. But I will say that this new documentary, which a year after the last one, Was it Trainwreck Woodstock 99?
Yeah, Trainwreck Woodstock 99 on Netflix.
On Netflix. Is just it's an absolute just shit show, man. Like I remember watching like the MTV like that weekend, watching the the kind of the chaos of the weekend and I mean, parts of it looked awesome. I do remember thinking back in the day, like when I saw that the waters were $4, I was like, oh my God, that's insanity. You know? And now I'm like, I would kill for a $4 water at a festival.
Right.
But they're talking about the greed and the price gouging and all that stuff. But the one thing that just killed me in this whole documentary is everyone passed blame onto everyone else. Like no one actually just said, you know what, man, we messed up. It was always, oh, well, this guy wanted this thing and whoever's not here to defend themselves, they're the ones that did the whole thing. And I didn't watch the other one, but obviously Fred Durst is not interviewed in this one. But man, I was watching watching Korn, the first, it's a 3-part documentary. Korn's on the first night or whatever. That crowd,
nuts.
Barring whatever is going on in the crowd, watching that crowd looks amazing. Like
it's awesome.
It's just like a sea of people. That's back before they really did those like splitters down the middle and 2 stages. I mean, this is all just a giant crowd of just. It's almost it's reminiscent of that Metallica Pantera footage from Russia, but it's just a sea of people just going crazy. And typically if you watch a festival crowd, I mean, there's a spot where the pogoing and the jumping and the moshing stops, and it's just people watching. But as far as you can see in this whole video, people everywhere just getting into it.
Yeah, it would have been awesome in that specific part. Can you imagine if Chimera would have been at this thing and they would have done the crowd split?
Did the wall of death,
do the wall of death and done the 3, 2, 1 and just boom. Can you? There might have been people dead. There may have been people that would have died from that violence because it was crazy. But yeah, the crowd looked awesome. I don't know. What did you think? I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask before I answer myself.
Okay.
What did you think when the promoter guys said the following? In one breath, they said, yeah, we didn't know about any of these bands.
Yeah.
But then we're like, well, these guys were dicks because they didn't calm things down when they went out there on stage.
Oh, the thing with Korn and with Limp Bizkit is they're like, oh, they could have, and with Red Hot Chili Peppers, I'm not going to leave them out of this. They were like, they could have said something. I'm like, they were in the moment. All they saw was 200,000 people or whatever, just vibing. And obviously, I mean, when the, during Limp Bizkit, they start ripping, boards off the wall. But I mean, I don't think that Fred Durst had any ill intent. But the John Shear, I think his name is, I wrote his name down. He's sitting there saying that blaming Fred Durst for all of this, because he's like, Fred was just a jerk and you could see it in his eyes. I'm like, what you can see in his eyes is adrenaline. He's got 200,000 people freaking out over Limp Bizkit. I mean, this is the pinnacle, of Limp Bizkit. But the other part of this whole thing is they act like there was 3 bands that played this bill, or I guess they act like there's 6. It was like Sheryl Crow, Jewel, James Brown, and then somehow Limp Bizkit, Korn, and Red Hot Chili Peppers came on and blew the place up. There was no other bands that night.
Yeah.
And if you look at this lineup, I remember when this lineup came out, and it's still a pretty weak lineup. It
is, yeah.
It's insane. I kind of went through some of the bands earlier, but I mean, all right. So heading into Korn that first night, the crowd's so riled up. From James Brown, G Love and Special Sauce, Jamiroquai, Live, Sheryl Crow, DMX, The Offspring, and then Korn. That's a snooze fest before Korn.
That's a show that you wait until 9:00 to get there.
And then Korn comes out, place blows up, and then they're like, we felt really bad for Bush. No, get out of here with that.
No, Bush was bigger at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
So they had to play after. Tough shit. You know, and the worst part to me is I mean, I've seen all those bands, obviously. And you know, as much as they were castigating Korn and Limp Bizkit, I didn't see them doing anything that they don't normally do.
That was that's what it was. That was a Korn and a Limp Bizkit show, period.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen the boards being thrown around like that Fred was jumping out on.
Yeah.
But I would not, if the boards, if I was at some show and boards did get passed around like that, I would not be stunned at all if Fred Durst jumped. Even now, even in today's world, after this has happened, if that shit happened again, would you be surprised if Fred Durst jumped out on the board and started rocking out? I would not be.
I will tell you right now, if I have a show coming up next month, if a board goes by me, I'm jumping out on it. Like, I will be on the board playing bass, floating around the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so insane. So kind of in the same, you know, the same realm of what I was saying about the whole bill up until Korn. So the Limp Bizkit day, you got the Tragically Hip, and then you got Kid Rock, and they talk about Kid Rock all day long. Obviously, Kid Rock is in the afternoon. Then you got Wyclef Jean, which, you know, I love Wyclef. Not going to be a crowd. You know, there's no crowd killing.
Crowd crazy, no.
Yeah, no crowd killing. Then the Counting Crows, Dave Matthews Band,
boring.
Alanis Morissette,
boring,
and then Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
So you got Limp Bizkit going off, but then how did you say all right, Limp Bizkit goes off the stage, and then Rage Against the Machine, and then Metallica in the night, but Limp Bizkit was the kerosene of the whole thing, and the match and the fire or whatnot.
Limp Bizkit was an easy target because of Break Stuff.
Yeah.
Bottom line, if they didn't have a song called Break Stuff that builds to that crescent, to that break your fucking face tonight, you know, if they didn't have that part, literally, if they just didn't have that part in the song where everything slows down before it gets crazy, they wouldn't have nothing to talk about. Yeah. But the fact that they had Break Stuff and everybody was breaking stuff, they're blaming that on Limp Bizkit. Well, tough shit. If you didn't do your research and you don't know what you booked, that's your problem.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, it wasn't like this was, hey, we're going to break out a new song for you here. It's called Break Stuff. Now tear the fucking place down. That's not how it happened. It was their biggest hit at the time. Well, either that or Nookie.
Right.
And I think that was probably the big hit that summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, both of those tracks, Nookie, Break Stuff. Yeah, I mean that was that record.
Yeah,
that was you know, they were peaking at the time. But how can you sit there and tell me that did Rage come out there and put on a boring set? I mean, did they just, like, you know, the whole "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me"? But they're like, yeah, you know, but chill out, everybody.
Yeah, and what did they say at the end of the documentary when they showed everybody with the fires and raiding the tents and everything? What were the people chanting? Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. So clearly they had some Rage Against the Machine still in their system. Yeah. You know, they remembered what they heard the day before. Ugh. Yeah, I hated this documentary. I'm with you. I hated it.
Yeah, and then Sunday night, I guess I'm only telling one side of the story because this is the East stage or whatnot, because I guess there was a West stage too, but East stage, Willie Nelson, Brian Setzer Orchestra, Everlast, Elvis Costello, Jewel, Creed featuring Robbie Krieger, and then the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I mean, what in that's gonna just incite a riot? Like, get out,
dude! I would have been like most of those people at 1 o'clock going home.
You're right.
There's no way I would have stayed for that. Yeah. For what? The Chili Peppers? I mean, I like the Chili Peppers. Not enough to deal with 10 hours of that.
And there were so many stories in that they were talking about. Oh, well, Guns N' Roses might be reuniting, and there's going to be a special set by this band or that band. So they were like, they were also blaming the promoters and whatnot for leaking for leaking out this anticipation of some crazy thing going on. So then when the fires start, from 100,000 candles that were passed out for a candlelight visual for Columbine, it's just so silly, man.
It was dumb. Look, everybody's to blame. Let's just call it the way it is. The promoters were obviously a bunch of fucking hippie numbskulls.
Yeah.
That's what they were. Hippie numbskulls with some money. That's what those three guys were, that Shear and Lang.
Yeah.
Lang and the other one. You know, they were just a bunch of fucking knuckleheads. And that's, look, they were some knuckleheads that, even though they're knuckleheads, they had an amazingly successful, as is the case with most things that happen once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's usually a bunch of knuckleheads. I have to use the right words here, but it's usually a bunch of idiots that catch lightning in a bottle once, and they did. But then they got greedy, and I do agree with the greed part. They got greedy, and they came back and tried to do it again, and it didn't really work in '94 either. See, this is a whole nother thing that they're leaving out. The '94 thing was a disaster too.
Yeah.
You know, with the mud and the rain, and the only thing good out of that anybody remembers is Nine Inch Nails. Nine Inch Nails playing in the mud.
Green Day too. Yeah, Green Day started with that mud fight in the Green Day side too.
But other than that, can you even name other bands that played '94?
No.
Off the top of your head, that's it. It came and went. It was an abortion. And then you go to '99 and it was equally bad. It was worse.
Yeah.
You know, because of the fires and everything. And, you know, but the fires could have been prevented if the knotheads that weren't putting the stupid thing on weren't passing out flames.
Right.
They're literally, here you go, all you people that are tripping balls on X. They all admitted that everybody was tripping and stoned and high. Here you go, you drug addicts. Here's a bunch of flames. What are you going to do with them after 3 days with no water and people all have trench mouth? That was gross, though. And the girl talked about trench mouth. Yeah. From drinking the water.
Well, like, I mean, the festivals I've been to, Ozfest, obviously back in the day, Warped Tour back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Warped Tour, I do remember always kind of being on a parking lot and always being 1,000 degrees. Yeah. So I probably the closest to Woodstock that I've been to is maybe like a Warped Tour. Not as many people, but just kind of disorganized and craziness going on all around you, and you got all like 30 stages going on, all that stuff. But the very first Louder Than Life, I think it was the very first one. Day one, they didn't have enough porta potties, and so the lines for the bathrooms were crazy.
Right.
Day two of Louder Than Life that year, triple the amount of porta potties. There was no waiting ever. So they heard there was an issue. Danny Wimmer and all those guys over there fixed it. Boom, over with. Yeah. They should. I could tell that they were all kind of in their own little world, not really dealing with the outside world, because I mean there are podcasts out there now with Cobras and Fire did a great one with the guy that went to Woodstock 99. Some of my friends on Facebook went to Woodstock 99, so I'm seeing their stories too. Sure. And most sane people saw what was going on and left.
Yeah.
So honestly, a lot of the nonsense that happened towards the end were probably all the knuckleheads you were talking about earlier that stayed, because all the normal people were just like, this place is fucked. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, you could watch it and again, the whole documentary, both documentaries are skewed. I've watched them both.
Yeah.
But you could see from a million miles away on day two that it was going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. I know for me personally, I'd have left. I would have left after day two. I would have stayed through day two, but I would have been out of there. I would have been out of there with Fred Durst. I'd have been
you and Fred Durst off on a plank, just off into the sunset.
Yeah, there's no way I would have even come back for day three, because the lineup wasn't very good, and you could just see that the conditions were bad, and there was no place to, take a piss or clean up or nothing. And it's like, forget it. I'd be out of there. Yeah, it was a bunch of psychos. Yeah, you let it turn psychotic, and that's what you get. Yeah. Sadly, but sad but true.
No pun intended.
Well, maybe a little pun intended.
But yeah, so Woodstock 99, man, just they, like I said, they always act like only 2 or 3 bands played it, and Fred Durst is somehow the biggest asshole of the whole thing. There's one comment I wanted to talk about. Jonathan Davis in the documentary said that Fred Durst is the type of person that can get anyone to do anything. Like he's got that type of personality and that type of kind of magnetism to him, and I can agree with that, because the few times I've been around him, like you can just feel Like you can feel like an air of just confidence. And like, I mean, I've always said it, when I first met Bobby Burns of Prime 55, he reminded me of Fred Durst because Fred had this air about him that you just like, that it factor that you just wanted to be around that person because, if you're going to go somewhere big in life, be around that guy. That's what I always felt about Fred Durst.
Yeah. Fred is definitely magnetic charisma.
Yeah.
He really is. And I could tell you stories, but I won't because
I've got stories too.
Anyway.
We'll put those
we'll put those aside because I think we'd have to edit them all out. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was, I thought that was a cool thing that Jonathan said about Fred and that whole deal of Fred's got that personality that he could get a crowd to, do all that stuff, but the crowds looked insane. Obviously, everyone's much younger back then.
Sure. Well, I just look at it. I don't see. I looked at it, in '99 when I saw the video of it, and I just look at it now, and all these people trying to trash it and everything, and trash Durst and everything. He didn't do nothing wrong. Neither did Korn. Neither did Rage, and I don't even like Rage, but neither did Rage Against the Machine. Neither did Kid Rock. None of them did anything wrong. They came out and did what they do. You're paying them to get out on stage, get a crowd crazy, and get them revved up. Isn't that their job?
Yeah.
Their job's not Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit. Nobody wants to go to a Limp Bizkit show and come out of it going, man, that was boring.
Right.
Nobody wants to do that with Korn. Nobody wants to do that with Kid Rock, Metallica, Rage Against the Machine, Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's not their job. Their job is to take whatever's standing up in front of them and drain every ounce of energy from them.
Right.
That's their job. And they did their job. So, these promoters saying, you got to get out there and calm them down. I thought the Chili Peppers going out and playing Fire, that's funny as hell.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Exactly what they should do as rock stars.
Yeah.
Is it the right thing to do? Maybe not. But rock and roll's always been about rebellion. And that's exactly the kind of rebellion. You look out, you see a bunch of fires. Here you go. It's fire.
Right.
So whatever. Fuck those promoters. Fuck those idiots that started the fires. And fuck Netflix for making these damn documentaries.
I agree 100%. Well, let's take some praise and give it to Paramount Plus.
Yes.
For this Beavis and Butthead, the 2 episodes that they have out now. I put them on, man, and I will. That's where I'm holding on to my youth, man, because I was dying laughing at these 2 episodes. I watched both of them twice and made my kid watch them just because I was laughing so hard at them.
Oh, dude, so fun. The one that just had me dying was the Beavis solo one with the fire. That shit had me laughing so hard that my ribs hurt.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just, I can't believe, one, bravo Mike Judge for not looking at social media and just doing what he does.
Yes.
Bravo to him. These episodes have been fantastic. And I love that they're still watching TV and grading things on TV. That is really funny, man.
Yeah, the ASMR skit with Beavis and them. I mean, that had me dying. I saw Mark Hunter post about that. He said that was the one that killed him the most. The girl getting into Harvard, I love that they, yes, they're watching a couple of videos, but they're also just making fun of YouTube videos, which I think is, I've talked about it on here before. Every YouTube reaction video needs to thank Beavis and Butthead for what they did back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're kind of doing that now where, they're just watching YouTube videos and they're still making me die laugh.
Yeah. Who would have thought that they'd be able to update that skit and make it still good? But they did.
That was so good. Both episodes are great. The B episode, getting locked in the box episode.
Yeah, that was great too.
just the whole thing, man. Just Mike Judge is a damn genius.
He is. And bravo to Paramount Plus for bringing back all the old episodes too.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching them every single day now. I'm on like season 7 or whatever. I'm just watching like 3 or 4 little 8-minute clips a day. And just getting a good half-hour laughs in before I get going. I'm so happy that that's back.
Yeah, the just over the years, you'll fall down a YouTube rabbit hole of some old Beavis and Butthead, and you're just like, God, this show was just so funny. I mean, that show was like, I couldn't have been any more perfect age. I was in like 7th grade when Frog Baseball came out, like on Liquid Television. So I mean, think about 7th grade me going to school, and everybody's like talking about Frog Baseball, and then like the series comes out, and that's all through high school, man. It's just like it's 100% like my age range is just all into it, man.
Good stuff, man. I love it. I'm glad it's back.
Well, I think that'll do it for this segment of the Talk to Me podcast here, notfest.com. This segment on YouTube. If you are a podcast listener, stick around for my interview with Keizo. And if not, make sure to head over to Notfest VIP. Get yourself a nice little subscription. Watch the video interview, and that would be a lot of fun. So for now, we will say goodbye. Unless you're a podcast listener, and then you will hear me momentarily. But for now, and for the Talk to Me podcast, I'm Joshua Toomey.
I am Chris Hagan,
and we will talk to you guys soon.